What key is it in? Amorphous. I can't find my Talit bag. I don't know.
I don't remember seeing it, but it doesn't sound.
Jenny thinks she saw it at some point in our house in the place that I would have then brought it.
I bet it's in your house.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out where I would have put it. There was I thought, oh, I know exactly where it is. And it wasn't there.
Do you know what we're talking about? I will be wearing one. There's so much going on. Guitar, I get to wear one when I'm playing guitar. I will when I'm not playing guitar. For vacation too. For a last minute change. So what you do for this?
Did you want me to start by reading?
Well, you were gonna do a shofar and then do a bush, right? So then when we come back from here, I'll do the full.
Great.
Sound good?
Yep.
Sweet. Give me a minute.
Nope. Thumbs up. Check 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2, 3. Can anybody hear me? Hello, hello. Test, test, test. Is this on? Oh, you can hear me. Great.
I have a new
intro I thought about while running.
Okay. I can't wait to hear it. Don't tell me.
We'll see how it lands.
Yeah, don't tell me. Shabbat Shalom. So lovely to have you with us this evening. We'll begin our service as we always do with a Yai Lai Lai melody, a nigun. This melody, special to us during the month of Elul and the upcoming days of Awe, I invite you to refresh your memories by joining me in song. Yai Lai Lai Lai, Yai Lai 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 Lai, Yai Lai Lai Lai, Yai Lai Lai Lai, Yai Lai Lai Lai, Yai Lai 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 Lai, Yai Lai Lai Lai, Yai Lai Lai Lai. One thing, I ask you, Adonai, to be with you all of my life. Tekiah.
Shabbat Shalom. I have 1 month to practice. So welcome to everybody, whether you're joining us here in the Sukkot Shalom Sanctuary or whether you're joining us online. No matter what our paths to truth that we are on our journey, they're all intersecting here tonight, and we're so glad to be with you in prayer and community. We take a moment to, we'll turn to each other in one moment. Just the psalm that we're opening with is a traditional psalm for the month of Elul. The month of Elul is the last month in the Jewish calendar, which we began last night, really in earnest today. And it's traditional that we recite Psalm 27, these words, Achat sha'alti me'ed Adonai avakesh. The one thing I ask of Adonai, only that do I seek, is to live in the house of Adonai all the days of my life, to gaze upon the beauty of Adonai and to frequent God's temple. And of course, we can ask that as a question that we are perhaps asking God, but really the idea is that we are asking ourselves that through focusing and intending ourselves to live lives of purpose and meaning through good deeds and moral actions, we can come to live in this beautiful house together somewhere on that mountain labeled truth. So we turn to each other in front of you, behind you, find somebody you don't know, wish each other Shabbat Shalom, and introduce yourselves if you don't know the people whom you are with. Shabbat Shalom. One thing, I ask you, Adonai, to be with you all of my life. Again, page 358. All the way at the back of your prayer books, page 358. The words of Psalm 27, Achat sha'alti. Achat sha'alti me'et Adonai. Achat sha'alti otavakesh. Shivti, shivti, bevet Adonai. Shivti, shivti,
Another special melody that reminds us where we are in the calendar year, and words indeed that we will turn to as one community at the high holidays in just a few weeks. On that same page, page 358, second from the bottom, the words of Hashivenu. Hashivenu Adonai Elecha Sing with me, we return. We return. We return. We return, return again. We return. We return. We return, return again and again to you, to you. Sing it to the people you came in with. We return again to you.
And speaking of returning, I am thrilled to welcome my parents here for the first time at Sukkot Shalom, Michael and Irene Immerman, all the way from Cleveland, Ohio. What? I neglected it. President Lisa and I have only met for 2 or 3 hours this week. So I would like to invite them to come light our Shabbat candles, bringing light into our sanctuary. Candle blessing can be found on page 2. Yep. Mm-hmm.
We sing together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Page 12, we sing out joyously as Shabbat approaches.
To God, the maker of all, pure and strong. Let all of creation from mountain to sea hear God's song.
Turn together to page 20 for Lachado D as we welcome Shabbat into our midst to give us comfort and peace. Together we will pray verses 1, 2, 5, and 9 as we welcome Shabbat.
Lachado Di Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Kabbalah. Shamor vezachor v'ni borachad Yishmi'anu el hamiyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad V'shemo tiferet v'ni tchilah lechadoni likrat kala Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki hi mekor haberacha merosh mikadem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshavat tehilah lechadoni likrat kala Shabbat Kabbalah Lechadoni Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Kabbalah Hitoreri Ki va'orech u'mi'uri Daveri Kvod Adonai alayich nivra Lechadodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Kabbalah Lechadodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Kabbalah Boi v'shalom ateret bala Gam besimcha u'tzola Toch emunei segula Boi chala, lechadoni Likrat kala penei Shabbat Kabbalah Lechadoni Likrat kala penei Shabbat Kabbalah
Page 28 for Baruch Hu, which is called the Call to Worship because it's the prayer that officially begins the core block of our worship service. Really, everything that we've done up until everything that we've done up until this point has been kind of warming up, getting our muscles ready so that we can really feel dedicated and ready to sing out and pray, and however we choose to do that. And this Elul is all about preparation. It's all about beginning to think about what we did in the last year and who do we want to be in the year to come. And we're going to talk more about that, but it's really an exercise every single day that we say the Baruch Hu we take a moment to say, are we really ready? What might that even mean for us to be ready to pray? Sometimes we don't even have an answer to that. But trying to figure out, are we ready to be together in community? Are we ready to be vulnerable with ourselves? Are we ready to be vulnerable in community? And so we rise together as we are able on page 28 for Baruch Hu.
Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Baruchu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed.
Page 32, a prayer before Shema is called Ahavat Olam. And the word Ahava means love. And the cantorial soloist I used to work with, Steve Brodsky, always would teach kids about the love sandwich. That the Shema, which we consider to be one of the most important prayers declaring the oneness of God, is sandwiched in between two prayers about love. The first is Ahavat Olam, a prayer in which we really thank God through expressing God's love for us by giving us the Torah and the commandments. And then the other is we talk about the ways in which we show our love for God by following those commandments and by ultimately being good people and trying our best in this world. And so before we engage in that prayer, there's an interpretive prayer that Rabbi Rami Shapiro wrote with the teachings of Ahavat Olam. And he wrote, "We are loved by an unending love. We are embraced by arms that find us even when we are hidden from ourselves. We are touched by fingers that soothe us even when we are too proud for soothing. We are counseled by voices that guide us even when we are too embittered to hear. We are loved by an unending love. We are supported by hands that uplift us even in the midst of a fall. We are urged on by eyes that meet us even when we are too weak for meeting. We are loved by an unending love. Embraced, touched, soothed, and counseled. Ours are the arms, the fingers, the voices. Ours are the hands, the eyes, the smiles. We are loved by an unending love." You may be seated.
On page 32, after that beautiful intention, the words of Ahavat Olam. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Ahavta. Otanu limadeta Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shoch beinu uvkumenu nasiach behukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ve'orech yameinu u'bahem bege yomam v'alayla ve'ahavatcha al tasir mimenu le'olami. lai, 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 lai. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. On page 34, our prayer of oneness, Shema Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. On page 36, the continuation of those words from Torah, we chant together the words of the Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol me'odecha ve'hayu hadivarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Continue with our prayer of hope, our prayer of freedom on page 40.
Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Bichamocha ba'elim Adonai, bikamocha nedar b'kodesh, noratehi lo rosefele, noratehi lo rosefele. Malchutecha ra'uvanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze'elianu ve'ameru, ze'elianu ve'ameru. Adonai yimloch le'olam le'olam va'ed. Adonai yimloch le'olam le'olam va'ed.
As we continue on page 42, as we pray to be embraced and enveloped in our Sukkot Shalom, our shelters of peace, we do take a minute, and hopefully this is not a shock to many of you, but there was a bomb threat at the library in Wilmette just a few blocks away yesterday, and they had to evacuate the library for the day, and ultimately everything was fine, and it was probably just a prank at the end of the day, but the fact that they chose a library is appalling in of itself. But of course, we're no strangers to some of these threats, and we are so grateful that Victor and his team are always here helping to keep us safe. In the Hashkivenu prayer, acknowledges that we are always in a sukkah, we're always in a temporary, perhaps fragile space, wherever we go, even when we are surrounded in our home, and that we ask God to help shield us and protect us. And we both ask God to shield and protect us, and we ask Victor to come and protect us. And we are grateful for both divine protection, but of course the protection we receive elsewhere. And simply by coming together and sharing in community and building the bonds, especially the interfaith connections that our synagogue has been known for, we create a safer and stronger community here. Page 42.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu Eloheinu leshalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
Page 44, we give thanks for Shabbat.
V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Page 47. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits and God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, and rebuild a weakened will. We rise in body or spirit on page 46 for tefillah.
Adonai, Sefatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Page 48. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. Page 50. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. You may be seated. Together we turn to page 253 in our prayer books for our Misha Berach, words of healing for those in need of healing of mind, of body, and of spirit. If there is someone in your lives who you are thinking about for a healing prayer, I invite you to share their names either out loud, in your hearts. You can put them, if you're watching us via Facebook, on the Facebook chat. You can simply just say them out loud as well. Baruch atah Adonai makor refuah, blessed are you Adonai, source of our healing.
Misha Berach Avoteinu Mikor HaBracha Limotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Turn away from the words of our prayer books to the words in our hearts as we pray silently.
On page 62, we ask that those prayers of our hearts are heard, the words of Yiyu Leratzon. Yiyu Leratzon, Imre refi vegion libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri Adonai tzuri vegoali Adonai tzuri Adonai tzuri vegoali vegoali
The problem with working with Kenny is that I never feel like I can follow him. We're getting along just fine. Well, Shabbat Shalom. So earlier this week, I was doing a little personal accounting, as one sometimes does, balancing checkbooks, checking various things. And so I took out my phone, which is the source of all of the data in my life, and I pressed the calculator button, and I was doing some calculations when my 4-year-old son, Aiden, comes over to me and says, "What is that?" Now, there's no other calculators in our house, so this is all he saw, and he only knows phones because he's 4 and is growing up in our world. And I said, "It's a calculator. We can use it to add things. So if you have one train and another train, you have 2 trains." So I said, he said, "Let's try it out." So we did 1 + 1, and he said 2. And that's all the arithmetic he knows. So then I showed him 2 + 2 equals, I pressed the button, and he said 4. He's 4. And then I said, well, 3 + 3 equals, and then he just started pressing all the buttons. Now, if we think about some calculators that you have seen and that you might have seen recently or a long time ago, right? There's the solar calculators, but there's the calculators with the little tape machine, right? So every time you press the equals button, it prints a little thing out. And I'm sure he would have been mesmerized if that was the type of calculator we had. Unfortunately, I pressed the button on my phone, the display went dark, and he went back off to play with his 1 + 1 + 2 trains. There's really 15 of them lying around the house. As we near the end of our Jewish year, beginning the month of Elul today, as I mentioned before, we have exactly 4 weeks until Rosh Hashanah. Now, you might think that the burden is mostly on Kenny, Rabbi Tick Brill, and I, and on Andy, of course, to get everything ready for the high holidays, but really, the onus is on all of us, equally. And now, I'm not asking you as individuals to come lead high holiday services, although that could be fun, but what we're going to do is we're going to take that scroll of paper that's been adding up constantly throughout our entire year, and we're going to take it out of our pockets and we're going to unroll it, and it's going to be very long because this year has been a long year, and we have probably done a lot this year. And we're going to look at it, and of course it doesn't have arithmetic on it. It has a list of all the things we have done, the things that we are proud that we did, the things we accomplished, the joy that we had, the babies in our world, which are just as important, the times in which we gave to others and helped others. It's also going to have the times that perhaps we were embarrassed by something we did, times that maybe we were mean to somebody, maybe we acted in a way that we shouldn't have been acting, maybe a time that we regret and we wish wasn't printed on this scroll. And the reality is now, no matter how hard each of us might try throughout the year, none of us is perfect. Nobody has a scroll only filled with positive things. Even rabbis and cantors can mess up sometimes. Sometimes. So we're going to put our list away. And armed with our list from the last year, we can then take out a blank piece of paper and our new beautiful fountain pen, and we can create a blueprint for who we want to be in the year to come, Right now, we are all looking at this blank slate, and it's amazing because it's full of possibility. And this idea of accounting of the soul in Judaism is called cheshbon hanefesh. Cheshbon, if you are in Israel and you say cheshbon, they will bring you the check, literally an accounting of what you ate in that meal. And so we engage in an ancient tradition called cheshbon hanefesh, the accounting of our soul, looking at everything that we've done over the last year. Now, as we look at this blank piece of paper, we think, what do I want my year to be? Who do I want to be in this year to come? And this week's Torah portion gives us a little bit of guidance. We read, and it's one of my favorite verses, Tzedek, Tzedek, Tirdof, justice, justice shall you pursue. This is such an important verse to me that I put it on my talit bag, and some people can, I keep getting the question, oh, it's okay. As we say in our wedding blessings, may we always hear the sounds of children at play. Babies are always a good sound. People keep asking me if I'm settled, and I keep saying, ask me in a little while, and right now I can't find my talit bag. I know it's somewhere, either here, it's probably in my house. We still have boxes to unpack. I'm sure it's somewhere. So I can't show you that it says Tzedek, Tzedek, Tirdof. So when we talk about justice, especially in Reform Judaism, we often think of social justice, which is veiled language that can mean anything we want. Racial justice, reproductive choice, caring for the environment, et cetera, et cetera. But that's not the justice that I want to talk about. That's not the tzedek that I think that we need to think about as we're approaching the new year. Instead, we want to think about how we incorporate tzedek, justice, into our personal and daily lives. And so we look and decode the actual meaning of that word, justice, tzedek. And we realize it's not a verb. It's not something that we are doing. Rather, it's a noun. We can't do justice. We can pursue justice. That phrase, pursue justice. Pursuing justice in Judaism, according to our tradition, is not so much of a doing, but an envisioning. That we sit there and we look and we say, what would this world look like if only we were to act by our highest of values and moral code? That is what justice means in Judaism. And we can't pursue justice on a grand level if it's not something that we have chosen and dedicated ourselves in our own lives. So we're sitting before these blank slates, these blank pieces of paper. We've looked at our long scrolls from the last year and we've said, okay, well, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I definitely want to do this and a little bit more of this. This was good. We should do this again. And we're crossing out and we're going to eventually start to decide this is what my new year might look like. And we're going to begin a list of things that are just, of actions that are based upon our moral code and values. And most of us hopefully share many of these similar values, but ultimately how we choose to live our lives on a yearly basis, on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, daily, hour by hour, is really up to us. And if we learn to articulate our values and live by them, we can then live lives filled with kindness, compassion, a caring for others, a caring for ourselves, a caring for the planet, while we perhaps be humble and generous, trustworthy, and or whatever other values are core to who you are and to who we are. And while I hope and perhaps expect to see most of you for the high holidays, whether it's here in person or joining us online or maybe at the Wallace Bowl, this self-accounting process, cheshbon hanefesh, is perhaps even more important than coming to services. Don't tell the rabbi I said that. It was really supposed to be, don't tell Kenny I said that. He's working very hard. This work of cheshbon hanefesh, accounting of the soul, allows us to set a template and a tone for ourselves so that we can hold our own selves accountable in the year to come. And if we engage in the preparatory process, when it comes time to sit in here and listen to Kenny chant Kol Nidre, a prayer in which we pledge to try our best in the year to come, we can feel confident in our ability to at least articulate, if not fully achieve, those goals. So again, as we begin this month of Elul, this last month of the calendar leading up to Rosh Hashanah, 4 weeks away, now is a perfect time to start this process, and it's always been the traditional time in Judaism to begin this process. So let's take out our soul calculators and take out the long roll attached and begin to look at it and evaluate it and think about who it is that we want to be in the world to come. And I'm going to challenge you right now to take a minute to think, the first of many minutes that you're going to have to think about this. Who do you want to be in the next year? What's something that you know that you want to do and be? And also, what's something that you don't want to continue in the year to come? And I'm going to really challenge you to think about it for 30 seconds and then share it with somebody next to you. I told you we were going to be vulnerable in community tonight. Take a moment, and then we'll come back together. We will continue this work together on August 30th. I'm going to be teaching a class. We're going to delve into some of this work of Cheshbon HaNefesh a little bit more. So I invite you all to come at 7 p.m. on August 30th. Given the intimacy of the work, it will probably be in person only, but you can check your weekly happenings more on that. Save the date for Barbecue Beach Shabbat, which is next week, which is an amazing time to think about who we want to be as a community in the year to come. And we continue on page 243 at the top of the page.
Create a pure heart within me. Let my soul wake up in your light. Open me to your presence. Flood me with your Holy Spirit. Then I will stand and sing out the power of your forgiveness. I will teach your love to the lonely. The lost will find their way home. Adonai, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Oh, say shalom, b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן ואמרו אמן.
We begin to conclude our service with a prayer of hope for unity. We turn to page 282 and we rise in body or spirit for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר ראשית, שמלותי שמיים ועושה הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגוני מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. Page 287. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Thoughts now turn to those who are no longer with us, but whose spirit and whose memory is with us on the Shabbat. We are praying and remembering Cecile Kraus and Norman Kluger, who died in the past 30 days. We remember Ethel Handler, Manuel Smerling, Otis Needle, Sidney Bookbinder, Irv Lappin, Mary Witt, Lillian Davis, Judah Cohen, Milton Immerman, Seymour Zissuk, Arlene Schumer, Michael Grossman, Suzanne Feld-Kandarian, Dr. Robert Phillips, and Maris Butson. If there are additional people whom you are saying Mourner's Kaddish, I invite you to share their name at this time. Zichronam Levracha, may their memories be for an eternal blessing. We continue with our ancient words and Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, be'alma divrach chirutei ve'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'alam omei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudesha barichu. Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata de'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru As Rabbi said, Beach Shabbat, August 25th at Gilson Park. Please be sure to join us. We're bringing all of the mains. You can bring your own sides and drinks, but we'll enjoy that barbecue together. Your class, August 30th at 7 p.m. here in the building. Keep an eye out for those details as well.
Please register for Beach Shabbat, right? So we know how much food to get.
Right, Andy? Yes, big thumbs up from Andy to register for Beach Shabbat, so we know how much to bring.
Many of you I know are staying for dinner, so we are going to do kiddush and motzi, I think, right in here, and then we'll bring the challah in so that you can immediately go and grab some food. Is it out on a table? We'll have all of the nonverbal cues happening in the. We continue on page 4.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 lai. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. You too.
Really, really good. That's all.